Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity, a show about weirdos. With your hosts, John Fahey, Aaron Peter, and Matt Brousseau.
Hello, folks. Welcome to Profiles in Eccentricity. It's a show about weirdos, doggone it. My name is Johnboy. It is Johnboy time. I'm your host, John Francis Fahey. Joining me, as ever, is the pinnacle and perfection of perversion, Francis Ford Copperphagia.
Oh, my God.
Aaron Joseph Pita. You sicko.
You're going to love the way my shit tastes.
Oh!
I Aaron Piet.
Yes.
Now, to my right,
My left.
Goozer the Goozerian.
Who's the Goozerian? I was thinking about that one on the way here, too.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yes. Honest to God.
So weird, huh?
That is weird.
I mean, I don't know. You guys are pretty.
Yeah.
Tight.
Are pretty tight.
Symbiotically linked.
Yeah.
Our minds engage in a thithering
In the most,
Yeah.
in the most splendiferous
fashion.
Gentlemen, how are you? You both look immaculately handsome.
Thank you so much. And you look
Thanks,
great
John.
as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
John, did you get a haircut?
No, absolutely not.
You don't need one. You look great.
Thank you. Thank you. You just made that up. You don't think I got a fucking
No, I
haircut.
don't. I just
No.
wanted to say something.
You just had to say something. John, did you get a haircut? No? Okay.
Thought so.
He's suggesting I get a haircut.
Wow, he really incepted you, huh?
Yeah.
Pinwheel.
You know what? I'm going to get one of them haircuts.
You, John? You ever?
I am going to break up my father's company. I had this fucking hell of a dream on a plane. Gentlemen, we are here. We just had a wonderful time on the Patreon. Of course, extra episode per week. I mean,
Some good shit.
God, we
Really
just
good
had...
stuff.
And you would know.
Yeah, as the Copperphagia king, Copperphilia. It's not always phagia. Sometimes it's just philia.
Yeah.
$5 a month, extra episode, and we keep it nice and loose over there. But we do still get into the shit, as it were. Now, gentlemen, what I want to get into here today is it gets a little true crime. It gets a little culty. It gets a little kinky, sexy. I know you like that.
Yeah.
And we're going into the queer community, and of course, this is the thing, guys. Listen, just because we're talking about crazy queer people doesn't mean, you know.
Just means
They're not all like
Yeah,
that.
they're not all, you know, and
Just the hot ones.
yeah. God.
Sorry. Too soon.
Yeah,
too
way
early.
too
Too
soon.
early. Too early.
You just got a warning.
Yeah, you did.
I saw a church sign today online. It said maybe it wasn't a church or something, but it was fun. We support the LGHD-TV community.
Oh my God.
It's a good TVs.
Yeah.
It's so weird. It's like the church is like they're really into technology. They're into AI.
Yeah.
Just no gay shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so I want to start with a little bit of background and some lingo and some things like this, and I think things that maybe we're accustomed to hearing and might not really know perfectly accurately
Cool.
as straight man.
Jury's still out.
It was a big weekend.
Let's start with bear, okay? A bear is a queer person with a large frame and a lot of body hair and facial hair.
Cool.
A bear projects an image of strength and rugged masculinity. There's continuing debate about what makes a bear a bear. Some bears put an emphasis on macho attitude, masculine presentation, and shun any kind of femininity, flamboyancy, or swishiness. Other bears are inclusive and accepting of a wide range of behaviors. A cub is a younger-looking version of a bear, sometimes but not always with a smaller frame. A wolf is a gay man with body and facial hair, but also very lean, muscular, athletic. Oh. Wolf.
They're like Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Why didn't you say so? Shit.
You feel better now, motherfucker? The history bears George Mazzei, Mazzei, wrote an article for The Advocate in 1979 called Who's Who in the Zoo? Breaking down the different animal categories for queer men, including bears. By the mid-'80s, some gay men around San Francisco would advertise bear hug parties or bear-centric sex parties through the internet. Richard Bolger and then partner Chris Nelson founded Bear Magazine in 1987. Bears organized bear clubs to socialize and hook up. Some are modeled on the biker club model with leather patches and strict membership rules.
Cool. Organization is great.
Bear clubs will sponsor a yearly bear gathering or a bear run like the Southern High Bear Nation in Melbourne. High Bear Nation, very cool. Bear Pride and Bear Essentials in Sydney. Bear Stock in Adelaide and High Bear Nation in St. Louis, Missouri. SF Bear Weekend. CBL's Bear Hunt, Bear Pride in Chicago, Atlanta Bear Pride, Texas Bear Roundup in Dallas, Orlando Bear Bash.
I don't know, the roundup sounds dangerous.
Oh, so does a bear bash.
Yeah, that sounds dangerous too.
Well, you get them all round up, they go to the same jail.
Yeah.
Bear Week in Provincetown. And now, with
Every week is Bear Week in Provincetown.
pup is one of the harder terms to define. Pups are not characterized by their body types. Bears and otters can be pups just as much as twinks and muscle queens. The history of pups is tied to the leather community. Pups have parallels with slaves, or, quote, boys, who serve a dom or master. Pups stand out because of their playful nature and spirit. Elements like the wearing of a collar, being on all fours, and staying on command were all crossovers from the leather community. A pup's goal is to be a good boy and receive scritches. A pup term for belly or head rubs. We know what scritches
Yeah,
are.
come on.
Just because we're straight.
Yeah,
You think we
ish.
don't know what scritches
I
are?
love to scratch.
We're not straight. The dom or sir may tell his pup to sit, or more commonly to lick his boot. And once the pup is performed to the dom's satisfaction, the sir may reward his pup with sexual acts.
Yeah.
This is a form of negotiation between sir and pup. A pup without a sir or pack is known as a feral pup.
A
Now that's
Ronin.
a stray. Some feral pups will seek out a sir or a pack or start a pack of their own. Others prefer to stay feral. Now that's fucking cool, man. I got a master. No gods, no masters. In the mid-late 90s, members of the leather community were teaching classes in San Francisco about how to get into the dog head space. Or to think like a pup.
Yeah.
Puppy playgroups were starting up in LA. In 1997, the oldest known website, thedoghouse.org, was founded. It existed until mid-2007. Quote, this club is for pansexual dog boys and bitches. Humans with animal soul. Not forgetting the owners, trainers, masters, or mistresses who like them that way.
Cool.
If you want to explore the animal within, underground SM, are seeking a master owner or slave pup, this is the place for you.
What was the website?
It's no longer up.
Oh. It was
The
just
doghouse.org.
I think I got bought out by the
hot dog
the
chain?
hot dog.
Yeah. In the UK, there was already an existing pony play scene. Puppy play became more common. Queer clubs like the Whiplash would have a pony and puppy play day. In the early 2000s, queer bars and clubs began to host more puppy contests and puppy presentations. In 2001, the Lone Star Boys of Leather hosted a puppy event in Texas.
Okay.
Now, do you guys know about all this shit, really?
I've heard about pup play.
Okay.
It can get pretty intense, meaning really all-consuming.
Yes.
You know, sleeping in a cage under the bed, wearing dog prostheses.
Yes.
Some people say that it's not sexual.
Well, you could say that about sex itself.
Yeah, it's more power dynamics, right? But yeah, if you're begging for treats and scritches and sit, go pee pee, all that stuff, if anything that has enough power dynamics in it, I think gets inherently sexual.
For sure.
And
That makes sense.
So, but I'm familiar with the broad strokes of it. I think we've pretty much tapped out my the depth of my knowledge as we're speaking.
I mean, a lot of this is news to me, but
Okay.
it all makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of it was news to me too.
Yeah.
The pony stuff I've heard as well.
I don't know what that is actually.
It's just that with ponies.
Same thing.
Oh, like guys they have got like the little hooves.
Oh my god.
And
they
a
trot.
lot of chaps.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Because that was also a big extension that we saw like on Real Sex of like horses in the leather community
Yes.
and guys getting ridden around.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
Crops,
yeah.
Tops.
Getting chewed.
bottoms,
Getting shooed.
spurs.
So the guy we're going to be talking about mainly today is this guy, Dylan Ray Hayford-Pepin.
Hayford-Pepin?
That's how I would think you say it. Hayfertepen.
Okay.
Huh.
Hayford-Pepin. He was born in Santa Cruz in California. He was raised in a Filipino family that described online as poor with divorced alcoholic parents. He said he was kicked out at 18 in the year 2005. He couch surfed and attended community college. He said he was short in height and scrawny in appearance with a uselessly large cock.
A uselessly large cock. Why do you have such a big cock?
What do you do with it?
What the fuck you think you're going to do with that
Why
thing?
do you think I have to drink all the time? My son has a big cock. You make me look like a child.
Is that a Filipino accent?
Yep.
Okay. Is that accurate? I don't know if it is.
That's
Okay.
very accurate.
It's a Swedish guy doing a Filipino accent.
That's a very accurate Filipino accent.
Mine's always just a Norwegian guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I have this useless I'm going to use it for a doorstop. Later on, he got a 23andMe that said he is half Polynesian, a quarter West African, and a quarter Western European or British, Irish, whatever.
Where do you think the big cock came from?
Yeah, did they say? Which is the most useless?
Where do you get that old shillelagh, you mean?
I wasn't going there. But...
I know you weren't. Oh, no, you thought it was the Filipino side.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
No, I know. You think it was the West African. 19 years old in 2006, he claimed to have weighed 140 pounds and was 5'8".
That's with the dick sitting on the shelf, too.
Yeah.
Some people put their thumb on a scale. Some people...
And starting there, he embarked on a program to radically bulk up and tattoo his body.
Mm-hmm.
And every year he posted a picture of himself to his social accounts, and he was wearing a wrestling singlet.
Cool.
Nice.
And had noticeably larger pecs, arms, and glutes.
5'8", he started 5'8", 140.
Yeah.
And then he started to bulk. Got it.
So 4 years later, at 23, there's the first archived record of his Tumblr blog, noodlesandbeef.com. And he used... It's a good name.
Yeah.
It's a very good name.
It's somehow weirdly sexual once you understand. Like, it's,
Well, I guess he's a big useless cock. It's just,
Yeah.
It's a noodle.
Noodles.
it's a noodle, it's the beef.
Flopping around.
You get that at Jollibee?
He used Tumblr, and we forget about the heyday of Tumblr.
Oh, yeah.
Tumblr was quite a scene.
Yeah, once they got rid of porn, Tumblr died overnight.
Yeah.
But it was also like a tasteful porn place.
It
Yeah,
could be.
I think they also had a lot of problems with like, what's the right word? Less than legal porn popping up, and also I think like advertisements, like in kind of like the back page thing.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, so he used to post his opinions on fitness and the queer bear scene in San Francisco, life, and he got 2.2 million readers.
Jesus.
On there. And he had a weekly newsletter with over 200,000 subscribers.
Whoa.
And in his professional life, he worked as a web designer. He described one of his kinks as, quote, dominating people that are stronger, smarter, and significantly bigger than me. The juxtaposition of power between my pups and I is extremely hot, end quote.
Whoa.
Wow.
He didn't even need Tai Chi.
You got rid of the accent too.
He described his pups as, quote, high socioeconomic status, well-educated, emotionally mature, tall, broad, super heavyweight bodybuilder sized, very handsome.
Ooh.
24 years old in 2011, a blog entry explained that he viewed himself as, quote, skinny, underdeveloped, small, yet fat in places, completely undesirable, end quote.
Wait, so that's
That's him talking about him.
before the newsletters where he's talking about the pups? Or
No,
after?
that's after.
Wow.
Yep.
So he's still...
And he's got a bit of body dysmorphia, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Plus his
Yes.
cock's fucking huge.
Yeah. Well, he's around all these huge dudes he's dominating.
Yeah. And like it's interesting he wants to dominate them even though he thinks they're better than
Yeah.
him.
Well, no, I guess that kind of makes sense, though, right?
Right, yeah. He added, quote, it probably sounds silly, but I've had breakdowns over how small I feel. Sometimes it gets the best of me, end quote. In a post 2 weeks before that, he said he was 225 pounds.
Holy...
At 5'8"?
Yeah, I mean, the height ain't changing, baby.
Well, it might be. It might be getting shorter with all.
I would
weight.
say no. Well, yeah. When he's 25 in 2012, he played the part of Cody Summers in 2 episodes of Where the Bears Are.
It's like a Berenstein Bears thing.
A comedy mystery web series that follows the exploits of 3 gay bear roommates living together in Los Angeles as they attempt to solve the murder of a party guest that turned up dead in their bathtub.
Cool. Okay.
Named
It ran-
Goldilocks.
Yeah.
It ran from 2012 to 2019. He also appeared as,
Jesus.
quote, Muscle Bear in the film Bear City 2, The Proposal.
Oh, I saw the first one.
I couldn't.
I couldn't. I just haven't got around to it.
Kevin Smith is in Bear City 2.
I just couldn't follow the plot.
Oh my gosh.
It's a 2010 gay-themed comedy drama. It stars Joe Conti as a young gay man in the twink category who fantasizes about larger, hairier men, known as bears, and in search to find the perfect man. The sequel, Bear City 2, The Proposal, was released in the fall of 2012. In addition to the major characters from the original Bear City, the cast includes Richard Reel, the jump to conclusions guy from Office Space, and Susie Mosher as Tyler's parents, and Kathy Najimy as Brent's mother.
Kathy Najimy,
Yeah.
famous.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's not the girl. She's not the woman from. She's the one. What's the witch one? Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I don't know.
I think she's the chubbier one from Hocus Pocus.
Very, very nice.
I could be wrong. That's just the face I'm putting to the name, but the name is very familiar.
So he's got millions of readers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he interacts with many of his Tumblr readers, but one fan particularly caught his eye. A man 3 years younger from Australia. Now, don't forget, remember how many of those fucking bear things were all in Australia?
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
kind of surprising, huh?
Yeah.
It's like really particularly strong in Australia.
Strange country.
Maybe
Jack,
because they don't have any animal bears, right? Do they have?
and they got to fight those kangaroos.
That's
yeah,
right.
They're all
yeah.
down under.
Yeah. Oh, it feels so good. This gentleman was named Jack Chapman, and he was, quote, absolutely flattered by Jack's attention.
Oh.
In 2012, he claims Jack sent him a rose over chat on OkCupid asking Dylan to be his Valentine.
Oh, Valentine.
While still with his polyamorous family in San Francisco, Dylan started a long-distance dom sub-relationship with Jack in Australia.
Wow.
That sounds complicated.
I think it's just like, you're my bitch, right? And you go, yeah.
Got it, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, you could probably like him.
Grateful to be, sir.
Lick my digital boot.
Jack Andrew Chapman was born to Linda Chapman on February 13th, 1990, outside of Melbourne. He and his younger brother Ben were raised by their mom. His father was out of the picture. Since 2008, Jack had been hosting a podcast called The Cubby House to raise awareness for social issues in the gay community.
Wow, that's early for a podcast.
It quickly developed a following in the international bear community, but according to his mother, Jack felt stuck in Melbourne in a dead-end job. One of his friends in Australia, Aaron, made a Facebook post that described the start of Jack and Dylan's relationship differently. Quote, Dylan is one of those Tumblr social media dreamboats, someone who has a cute face, a hot body, and seemingly the total package. He is kinky and very into the dom sub-scene, and he was also polyamorous, things that make many people drool at the chance of being with him. Dylan saw something in Jack and began courting him. Jack, eager to please, was happy and seemingly dumbfounded that someone like Dylan would be interested in him. He started working out more to achieve a physique like Dylan's. So we're seeing some, I think, socio-kink politics play out here in and this way of each of them are saying they're flattered by each other liking them, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The same year, Jack graduated from La Trobe University with a Bachelor's of Arts specializing in social research. He entered a local bear pageant, and while he didn't win, friends described the 22-year-old as a fan favorite. December 2012.
Uh-oh.
The Mayan calendar.
Yeah.
Jack is now going to be known as Tank.
Oh.
And that is because he has been adopted by Dylan.
Oh. He's part of the doghouse.
Rescued.
Yes. Who rescued who?
Yeah.
We're going to find out.
State.
He shared his contract with Dylan on Tumblr.
Oh, he like posted it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
Tank, as Jack will now be known, did. Quote, Yeah, and you're going to want to listen up.
I'm paying attention. I got my notepad out on my phone.
Quote, a pup will identify as any name that his master bestows upon him. If the name sticks, the pup will be encouraged to change the name legally.
Whoa, that's...
Pup may never feel worthy of his master's love. Master's word is law and must be trusted and obeyed. In an ideal mindset, subspace, master's word should override a pup's internal reality and be accepted as absolute truth.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So hot.
Tank must grovel, cry, and kiss master's feet whenever they meet, quote, until the pup has permission to rise to his feet once again. Quote, relinquish his salary to his master.
Oh,
Whoa!
And maintain complete financial transparency at all times. It prohibits Tank from using deodorant, masturbating, watching TV, or speaking unless spoken to by master, and socializing with anyone without master's express permission.
holy shit.
Now they're still a world apart.
Yes.
One is still in Australia, the other is still in California.
Right. So that's kind of the thing, too, where you go, like, how much of this is fantasy and,
Right.
and where does the line go, right?
Uh-huh.
But that's fucking nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And the thing is that, like, when you're like, oh, look at my master's contract, and you're like, and it's really hardcore. The thing is like, you can look at it like, well, we're all just guys behind a computer screen beaten off.
Yeah. But the salary thing, that's demonstrable. Like,
Yes, that's immediate.
yeah, that's, you've hit the Zelle.
You hit the cell on the head.
Yeah, the wire transfer goes through, the ACH goes through, right? Like that either happens or it doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. And then, I mean, that I think for me, that is the moment where it's not fantasy anymore. Now that this is in reality now.
Once there's an exchange of funds and...
Fluids.
Quote, a pup has no sense of value or identity outside of that which is given to him by his master.
A girl has no name.
When a pup does wrong or finds fault in himself, he is to internalize his flaws, dwell upon them, and then take all corrective actions he can to improve himself for his master. Master has explicit body goals for the pup regarding their weight, their muscle mass, their measurements, and their proportions. The pup will make all efforts possible to ensure these goals are realized and should never feel satisfied until his master is satisfied. There is always additional room for a pup to push their physical limits. So that's pretty damn nutty.
So it's like when people get into cults, like there's not usually a contract. They're kind of like tricked into it.
Well,
but in this case, it seems like he's been given the cult status, and he just goes yes, and he signs it.
Sign me
not
up.
only that, but posts it.
Yeah.
So you also like get a thing where it's like there's some kind of oversight, of like at least people being like, and then like, but somebody can also be like, listen, I love jerking my dick as much as the next guy, but some of the stuff in here seems a little fucking wonky.
Yeah.
But it's like that thing of, Giuliani, he doesn't really want to own your tits legally.
Yeah. It's like that.
You know what I mean?
It's like that.
Yeah.
A lot of baggage.
You can't legally own the tits. You can just say you do.
Yeah, even if you sign a contract, like they're still your tits. They're not his tits.
No. His tits. Great phrase. So in February of 2013, Jack books a flight, Tank, to San Francisco, and he and Dylan spent a 5-day vacation together.
Vacation for who?
I mean, they're both into it at this point, pal.
Yeah. Oh, man, I can't wait to get rid of my lackadaisical lifestyle here in Australia, go to San Francisco and be a dog.
Yeah, this dead-end job in Australia.
I know. I was just going to say, he thinks he's working a dead-end job. He's like, I want to go be a dog.
Maybe I can work my way up to bigger dog.
How bad was this job?
Good dog.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Dylan collars Jack, newly naming him Tank at that point, initiating him into romantic servitude with a chain and lock around his neck. After Tank comes back to Australia, he and Dylan started writing out a relationship contract, and Dylan sent him the training collar in the mail. Later, they revised the contract, and Dylan gave him a, quote, full collar. So now you're not in training anymore. You're part of the pack.
Oh, okay, good.
You can read the newspaper now.
Tank told his friend Aaron that he and Dylan had broken up because Tank wasn't good enough for Dylan. Tank was still wearing the chain and lock and had no access to the key. So
just dirt all the time?
Yeah, it's around his neck all the time. But also, you can cut it or whatever. It's probably very, psychologically symbolic.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you really wanted it off, you could find a guy.
But he was determined to win Dylan back, submitting to Dylan's request that he cut his friends out of his life. Dylan was in San Francisco, still growing his own pup roster. They reconciled soon after.
Well, I don't know if reconcile's the word, but yeah.
He's getting more pups in America.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, this guy has to freeze out his friend group.
Yeah.
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah.
Immigrants always have to try harder.
Yeah.
Got this fucking thing around your neck?
Yeah. Every time he goes through a metal detector, he's like, no, I'm a pup.
No, I'm a Popeye.
In 2014, Dylan would be 27, Tank is 24.
Wow.
According to Dylan, Tank, totally on his own, set up an appointment to get silicone injections to his scrotum in Mexico.
Big old balls.
On his own, but he's not supposed to do anything.
How much steroids are these guys on?
Yeah, that's a good question.
That's a good question, but first of all, so silicone injections, you're going to Mexico.
It's cheaper.
Yeah, but also, no doctor is doing this. It is not
they have a different word.
No, they go to the Joker's doctor.
It's not a medical procedure. This is not okay.
No, it's a guy who's got maybe a couple alcohol swabs.
Yeah, and
a vat of silicone.
Yeah, and a picture of John Brinkley on the wall.
And so these guys, are... These guys are, the balls are of straight retard strength.
Well, let's see them.
The balls are of...
Can we see the balls?
Yeah, I'm going to give you guys, just pass this around.
Okay. Pass it
balls around.
So what you're going to see here
is
Tank.
Well, it is a chain.
Oh, fuck.
I didn't. I started at the top.
Fuck it. Dude, he looks like O'Doyle.
He has to wear shorts. Or kilts.
Yeah.
He can't wear pants.
Now, Aaron,
This guy's not going to work anymore.
No.
What?
But
They're on a lot of steroids. Answer.
Yeah.
Have to be. They look nuts. Yeah. Now you can see.
Please.
Yeah, they do. He's got some cool Celtic knots there or something
Not what?
on it. Knots.
Are you scrolling through the rest?
No, I'm just looking at his tattoos on his arm.
Oh, okay.
I'm not scrolling through. I would not do that.
No. It might actually.
in the contract.
It might actually. If I scroll through and see, there's no kind of spoilers for you boys, because there's more here of.
Those are good-looking balls, though. They
Are they?
But what
they're
would,
big and symmetrical.
How do you know they're symmetrical?
They look like it.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like there's 3 of them here.
Oh,
I see.
looks like he's getting 69
We're getting
by
a nice
his
rear view.
Aaron, give the people an
Okay.
idea
So
verbally
now this is a rear view
of Tank.
in his very sparsely appointed bedroom on his bed, bent over on all fours like a dog.
Mm-hmm. In a tank.
And it's you're just staring right down Main Street from behind, and it does look like he has 3 balls,
Yeah.
and they are each about the size of
Tennis balls minimum.
Tennis balls.
Minimum.
I would say racket balls.
Yeah.
But it looks like it does look like there's 3. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But hair looks pretty or at least manicured back there.
You can also Matt, you can now that's some big ball shit.
Yeah, that stuff works. I mean, if you are into that, that must be really hot.
I'm sure it's hot as fuck.
It looks like
If you have a uselessly large penis, you need some equally uselessly large balls to slap up against from behind.
It looks like he has like a dinosaur hoof.
But this is just the pups.
Foot or whatever.
There's no evidence, I don't think, of Dylan doing this himself too.
No, but he at least has a big dick to go with it.
Yeah. So when you
Yeah.
put that with the balls, it looks like it makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to show you just one more so you get an idea.
I need you to get balls big enough to be proportional. My fat, useless cock.
Uselessly large.
Yeah.
I think that just means you're not using it, right?
Well,
Like-
it means like it can't. It can't open a door or anything. Like, it doesn't have any.
so now this is two guys, and now this just, I mean,
Do we have Dylan on here?
no. This is another pup here.
I sure would like to see his uselessly large cock. I mean, you've kind of whet my appetite. Balls.
So if he helicopters, he flies away.
This is clothed. But this is like now another guy in the pack that's also had the silicone injections next to Tank.
And did he do it on his own accord as well? Was this?
No. Master, his name is Master.
Yeah.
Nothing is on your own accord. You can't even get off the ground.
What you are going to do is fly to Tijuana, Mexico City, something like that. You're going to get to Jose's place.
I think he's just Filipino American, Aaron. I don't think he talks like that.
I think just the unwieldy
From
nature.
Santa Cruz, bruh.
You know, like what do you?
Wow,
what do
he
you
really likes
do
the
all
redhead
day?
guys.
He does, yeah. He does.
Describe
Yeah.
how big those balls look on both boys.
Uselessly large.
Like it's almost like half a bowling ball in the front of your pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the whole ball bag scene.
Severely limits things you can do, clothes you can wear.
Yeah.
Clothes
And
are definitely a new ball game after that.
Well, John,
I didn't mean to say
Jesus
that.
Christ, you might as well write them all down.
It's ball game apparel. Yeah, they're definitely on steroids. They're at the gym. They're wearing lifting gloves. They're wearing net, very spandex heavy outfits, and they're big guys. You got big young guys with kind of the
Good guys.
good solid guys. One's got a bull ring, nose ring, and they have big red beards.
And they look very happy. A lot of the other pictures there are like them. You know, they'll be cuddling, nude, whatever. They'll be kissing each other's muscles, stuff like that.
Yeah, but they got like a cantaloupe in the front of their pants.
Yeah.
Major melon situations.
So, I mean,
going on.
that must get hit all the time then.
Yeah, I
Cushion though.
don't know.
Yeah, I guess you probably don't feel anything.
Don't know if it would hurt less, more.
Can you imagine going into your dead end job with that fucking thing?
Here I go with my big balls.
Check out the big balls on Brad.
A lot of them, web guys, just design,
they work from
programmers
home or something. Yeah.
But so, that's
Those are some big balls.
Yeah. I mean, that AC/DC, you know?
Big balls.
So yeah, in 2015, he obtains a visa through the lottery system
Okay, nice.
and relocates to San Francisco, moving in with Dylan and his other pups.
Is it called the kennel or the den or something like that?
One formerly Chuck Osborne is known as Alpha.
Doesn't make any sense.
Alpha pup.
Daniel Balderas, Hayford-Pepin, who is Dylan's husband.
Oh, okay.
His name is Carne, which is dog,
Carne?
isn't it?
Meat.
Oh no! I'm thinking of Oh no, I thought Carne was
No. Carne means meat.
Carne.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, Mondo Kane is dog's
Carne,
world.
like canine. C-A-N-E. not-
Got it. Okay.
So he's a husband.
It's
but
pronounced Carne though. That's why I thought it was the same.
Yeah.
he's the husband, but he's not actually of equal stature.
No, he's a pup.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just another way to fucking be subservient. But
Yeah.
plus, you're my husband.
Yeah. Now you got to do the dishes.
And also Biff.
Butthead.
Hates manure. The family was a fixture at popular gay clubs and events like the Folsom Street Fair, sporting jockstraps or bedazzled football pads.
I love that.
Okay, yeah, sure.
The other one, there was another gentleman, Matthew Scott.
Gentleman?
Yeah.
Okay.
That may actually be Biff. Or either that or Philip Myers. But there's a few pups.
Okay.
Dylan had 60,400 Instagram followers. He and the pups posted photos of their family working out together, traveling, frolicking at nude beaches, and cuddling in the nude.
Aww.
That seems very sweet.
Yes.
No, it's got to be hard to cuddle, though, a little bit, right?
Just throw your balls throw your balls over your thigh.
Yeah. Get these balls out of here.
Dylan's Tumblr, as well as the Tumblr accounts of several of his pups, contain pages of photos of their scrotums that they'd engorged to enormous proportions with liquid silicone injections. In one picture, Tank's testicles, the size of dodgeballs, hanging outside his basketball shorts.
I think that's the one we saw then, right?
Yeah, those were bigger than the bent over.
Yeah.
They got bigger.
Yeah.
He kept going.
Yeah.
Tank's silicone injections to his genitals got him immediate praise and encouragement from internet fans. One picture he posted to Tumblr got the comment, "That underwear bulge, swoon. What a handsome minotaur man you are, smiley face." Wrote another, "That junk down south looks amazing. Bet your master lays on that bulge like a pillow every night."
Oh my God.
These guys are on some big ball bullshit, Aaron.
Yeah, they seem to be really enjoying it.
Yeah. It only frightens me more of what's eventually
I
going
don't know
to
whether be afraid or
Yeah.
climax.
Or petrified, yeah.
In 2016, on a trip to Australia, Dylan and Tank were hanging out at a sex club and played a round of naked pool to the delight of the evening crowd. That sounds delightful.
Oh,
What did they use for balls?
those balls would not fit in the pockets.
No.
Rack 'em.
Rack 'em, Donnie.
Tank tattooed Dylan's astrological sign, the Taurus symbol, on his chest.
Yep.
Dylan described Tank as having, quote, earned his brand, and also had, quote, property of Master Dylan tattooed under his master's astrological sign on his lower back. Tank, Alpha, Angus, and Biff have the tattoo property of Master Dylan on their lower backs, along with Dylan's astrological sign. Now, which of one of those two is more embarrassing? Maybe the
Astrology or being the ownership of the land. It's pretty close.
Tank posted a long apology to Dylan, accompanied to a photo of himself crying, writing that he was, quote, shit for disappointing his master. He'd gone in a friend's hot tub without Dylan's permission.
No!
Oh my God, bad dog.
Plus, all the water just...
They displaced that 3 fucking liters of water.
Can you imagine
Boom.
how those things would float in there?
Oh, he just pulled him up. Sorry, I just
Yeah.
gotta keep pushing him down.
He tried to get in the hot tub. His balls wouldn't let him.
No ball diving. So, I mean...
Cannonball! God! Dude, a cannonball with those balls? You'd be in agony.
Oh God.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Matt?
I was going to say a public apology like that is, dude... I don't know. That never seems like an apology. That seems like some coercion, some, you know?
Oh, I think it's a public plea.
Yeah.
He probably, like, blocked them or something. Well, there's probably some, like, real power games going on.
Yeah,
there.
exactly. Like Dylan saying...
Probably.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dylan saying you have to publicly apologize. Even though no one in public knows this,
Yeah.
you have to make a spectacle of yourself in front of the
Or
public.
the mind control is that
Yeah, that Dylan didn't even tell him.
Yeah,
that
that's
too.
true. Yeah, you're right.
he had
Yeah.
no other
That's true, yeah.
options
Yeah.
in his mind.
That's fair.
He said, I don't deserve love. I don't deserve forgiveness. I only deserve to suffer.
That's not
A
good.
pup needs to ask his master and get his permission to meet with people and do activities which are outside his regular routines. A pup is to avoid even being in situations which could even potentially arouse suspicions in his master. His friends that read the post, even those in the BDSM relationships themselves, were disturbed by the tone.
Yeah, good.
And his Tank's fans were as well. Quote, Tumblr turned on Dylan after the hot tub incident.
Really?
A friend named Kyle told BuzzFeed.
Wow.
So that's the thing, is like there is self-policing things here. We go like, hey,
Man, that's not cool.
we all love being fucking retardedly perverted.
Yeah.
But, you know, enough is enough. You
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah.
now we're getting weird and there's crying and there's emotion. And
Like, we have enough...
I don't deserve love.
Yeah,
like,
this is fucking gay.
But yeah, they're going like, we have enough freedom to live these lifestyles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now we're going to cage ourselves.
Yeah. And also just, you can clearly see that there's room for, the gay community is so good about consent and communication and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Because they kind of had a leg up on it. You know what I mean? Because what they were already doing was supposed to be forbidden. Mm-hmm. So then everything else that was forbidden, they got very good at being like, okay, well, here's how to go about it in, a safe way.
Right.
And not be taken advantage of, because there's still people that will take advantage of you in any corner of life anywhere. Mm-hmm. So they clearly can see, oh, this is some gaslighting fucking
becoming problematic.
Yeah. So, his friend Aaron also backs up stories of the drama in San Francisco. He said that, quote, soon as partners began pumping their balls full of silicone.
You think?
In order to please their master and to emulate what he himself had done to his body. Okay, so he did do it himself.
Well, he had to balance out the big giant dong.
Yeah.
I'm on this big ball bullshit.
It's only to even out the aesthetics.
Yeah. And then everybody else has to do it.
Dick and these tiny.
Sorry, I'm a decorator.
Exterior.
Yeah. The drama would include public posts about abuse, meltdowns online. In San Francisco, the community was beginning to turn on Dylan as the antics of the group began to spill out into the open, and eventually, without warning, Dylan moved all of them to Seattle.
Oh, we're getting, it's like
they don't have the internet there.
when Father Yod moves them all to Hawaii.
Right.
It's like, okay, we're talking Endgame now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the end game now.
Or fucking French Guyana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So in May of 2016, he posted that him and his pups are going to move to Seattle. He got a new job in the Emerald City. He claimed he presented his pups with a 3-year plan to leave San Francisco in 2014.
A 3-year plan.
Yeah,
he's 21 and dog.
he was acting like we're not running from the community.
Right.
We always plan to do this.
Yeah.
They chose Seattle because of the job market and social scene. Tank worked as a mental health advocate and regularly volunteered with local organizations that aided the queer community. A lot of AIDS outreach and stuff like that.
So that's very nice.
Better help.
Yeah, listen to the Patreon for that.
So in 2016, ABC News did a segment about bigorexia, an obsession with gaining muscle.
Oh.
And Dylan in it described his journey from a 140-pound teen to a 265-pound colossus.
Plus all the muscle around him.
He said, quote, I was so caught up in that lifestyle, so obsessed with the ever-moving goalpost of getting bigger, that I never really considered this a problem. He described his routine as intense workouts, drinking 6 protein shakes a day, and spending half of his paycheck on supplements. I would get very upset about how small my arms seemed in proportion to my waist, my shoulders to my neck. I would focus on all these things that made me very upset. You don't see any average-looking superheroes.
I mean, you do, but he doesn't. He's not seeing anything he doesn't want to see.
He's only reading 90s
You
comics.
also don't see superheroes.
Yeah,
they don't exist.
Right. Do you have a picture of Dylan?
They're fucking drawn.
And they're also called superheroes.
Yeah.
Do you have a picture of Dylan?
Yeah. Everyone was this hyper-masculine or superior male about the superheroes.
Yeah.
ABC News reported, ultimately, Dylan's infatuation with getting huge landed him in the hospital. He had gotten so big that his blood pressure became so high, he had to have his heart shocked back to normal.
Yeah, he was on a lot of steroids.
Yeah.
He told ABC News, I had negotiated with myself that it would have been okay to succumb to death at an early age by pushing myself beyond what my body was capable of.
Okay, so a lot of issues there.
Yes, but then the thing is that then they get projected onto
Your pups.
the pup.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Yeah, then that makes sense.
So the Kyle friend that talked to BuzzFeed, the friend of Tank's, in December of 2016, Tank messaged him and said, quote, keep it to yourself, but for my own sake, I need to develop an exit strategy.
Okay, so he's not completely, totally
Yeah.
brainwashed.
He's identified as, a friend, BuzzFeed source, and asked that his last name not be used. So Dylan's now 30 in 2017. Tank is 27. They're in Seattle. And in March, Tank called his friend Armin Ellis around 11 o'clock at night. Dylan was on a trip to Japan. Ellis lived in Renton, Washington, a 30-minute drive from Seattle. He said he needed to leave his current living situation for good. Ellis and his husband drove into the city to help Tank. They found him outside Chinatown Industrial District, carrying a small amount of clothes he owned.
His balls over his shoulder.
Yeah.
What's an old
And a
song?
handkerchief.
Yeah, hefty bag.
Yeah.
He lived with Ellis and his husband for the next few months, and they went on nature outings and danced in bars, trying to show Tank that there's life outside the doghouse.
Yeah.
During this time, Dylan claims that Tank got more silicone injections in Sacramento. So he's saying the time when he wasn't with me, he did more of that.
Yeah.
Which doesn't seem likely to me.
Yeah, especially
And
in
even if he
Sacramento.
did, maybe he found something he likes out even without
Yeah.
a master.
Yeah.
I can have big balls without you, Daddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Can't I?
So the other redhead pup was Angus.
Fucking Angus.
He was added to take Tank's place, right?
Uh-huh.
And Tank told his friends that Dylan had psychologically and physically abused him, including imprisoning him.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of in the contract.
Fucking signed it, bro.
In July of 2017, Dylan filed a small claims lawsuit against Tank in King County District Court, alleging that Tank owed him about $5,000 in unpaid rent between July 2016.
And these two do show up to small claims court with their fucking balls.
He was told to appear in court.
Man, Judge.
Order!
Jesus Christ!
Objection! No one said anything.
The judge is objecting.
Sustained. Tank was told to appear in court for the rent on September 14th. Dylan wrote in his newsletter, Tank responded to my court summons with the money he owed me and asked to try therapy and reconnecting. I accept it.
No.
A week or two later, Tank left Ellis's house to rejoin the pups. The court case was dismissed over Dylan's failure to appear in court and a lack of proof that the court summons had been served to Tank in person. Tank's friends, including Craig, Ellis, and a close friend from Australia named Kevin, found themselves unfriended or blocked from all of Tank's social accounts. You in the jungle now, baby.
Shit. It's the
Balls big as
the manipulation is deep.
Yeah, and also you didn't pay rent, even though I was taking all of your income, and then that is now he's forced to have contact with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the separation from your friends, like that shit is just. I mean,
Before this
is the second time he's done.
He's using the court case as a way to force his way back in.
Yeah.
Yes.
Smart.
Which is, I mean, it is. But it's insane too. Of like, I'm gonna get you legally.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if you, it's kind of this weird.
And I'm gonna replace you.
Yeah.
With a guy that looks like you.
Yeah.
That's fucking. That's. Come on, another redhead. Oh, don't worry, we're fine without you, Tank.
And his balls are bigger.
Yeah. Jesus. Look at him.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, like, getting a great way to stay connected to somebody is like to get a restraining order against them. Weirdly, like
Yeah.
like it's kind of an oxymoron, kind of
Yes.
catch-22 thing. Like
You now have a legally binding relationship in some
with somebody
way.
you're trying to keep away.
Yeah.
It always struck me so. I mean, there's a time and a place for it, so I'm not judging anybody. It always seems so weird to like, let's bring another person in to this to stay away from each other.
Yeah.
And and he did something similar, which was, oh, now we're engaged in a lawsuit. Like, you have to be a part of this. It's smart.
So, Tank is now back with Dylan, and I think let's take a little break, and we'll come back and we'll get back to this whole fucking crazy phenomenon, this big ball
This
bullshit.
dog and pony show.
Be right back, folks. And we're back. Debais.
Debals.
So now, Aaron, the balls are back.
In town.
What you will see here, gentlemen, I'll pass this over to you, is second from left is Dylan.
And John, you'll have all of these pictures for our Patreon.
I do, yes, correct.
Dylan's that
second from left. So he's the darkest one, the one that looks a quarter,
You know, I just don't like his energy. I don't know about that guy.
Racist.
I knew you were gonna say.
I mean, in fairness, they're all being crazy to some certain extent.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't if I.
Oh, this is like, I see
And he's like
Tank here before his balls got real big.
Yes, exactly, yeah. So that's the thing, Aaron, is that this is not a one-stop thing. Like the thing is like let's get him bigger, let's get him bigger, let's get him bigger, let's get him bigger.
That is probably, I'm just speculating here, but it's like, I'm guessing there were, like, Dylan would say, oh, you did something wrong, you got to make it up to me.
Oh,
right?
Get my balls bigger.
Like, just get my balls bigger. Because why else would he just do it without some sort of prompting or...
Well, the thing is, too, is that...
It becomes your love language.
Yeah, I do, yes.
But you
I get that.
You also know what he wants, and therefore you want it, before he says a word.
Yeah.
But does he even, is that a thing? I don't actually know. Is that if the giant balls, is that like in the gay community? Is that?
Women get gigantic tits without men ever telling. Like,
it's his thing. But also, there's clearly some people online that are like swooning over it. Like,
right? No, like you did. Yeah, you read that, and that it was very.
Yeah, you're getting positive reinforcement.
Yeah. Just thinking about sleeping on them and all that cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, like beanbags.
Yeah.
But so he's back in the fold, and so now he's like the shortest of all of them. You know what I mean? He does.
No, that makes perfect sense because he's also bragging about his
trying to go after the ones that are
harem of pups.
and saying that like the better socioeconomic standing, and then they also sign over their fucking.
There's socioeconomic standing isn't better.
No, because he has all of it.
He has all of it. Yeah. So he's also lying in that sense.
Well, I suppose you're dominating at that point.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the domination.
Yeah.
They are white.
They are.
So,
and yeah, they're all big, but like
puffy.
Yeah, they're not ripped.
They're bears, man.
Yeah, they're not muscle competition.
No, they're not bodybuilder. They're ripped. They're bears.
Yeah.
So this gentleman named Peter Dovak, a graphic designer and professional transit nerd.
Oh yeah, we had one of those guys in the media episode.
Yeah?
The transit nerd.
Oh yeah. He was celebrated in his industry for creating transit maps and graphics. He died from a pulmonary embolism. Since 2011, he had been working for the consortium trying to get high-speed maglev train built between DC and New York.
Cool.
Despite his professional success, good looks, youth, and a dedicated partner, he was not satisfied. He had the worst body dysmorphia that his friend Rob ever knew. Rob told Rolling Stone, quote, "He took more steroids and he definitely got bigger and stronger, but he never felt good about it. Whenever we left the gym, he would feel like shit about it. He would just flog himself over it. I eventually stopped working out harder than him so he could feel better about his progress."
Oh my God.
That's really sweet, but also very sad.
Peter gained a large internet following, much like Dylan, and continuing to gain, growing into a monster. Rob had tried to dissuade him from getting silicone injections. He wanted to go to Mexico to get the injections because he was too squeamish to inject himself, and he knew that Rob, his partner, would refuse. Rob and other sources have claimed that Peter and Dylan had an online friendship and that Dylan told Peter where to get the silicone injections.
Okay, so that pokes a hole in Dylan's whole like, oh, he went down there and I had nothing to do with it for a tank.
The man Dylan referred Peter to wasn't a doctor. Dylan denies telling Peter where he could get pumped. He got his first injection in early 2017 in California.
What's your doctorate in? Big ball stuff.
In January 2017, Peter, who his partner said had the worst body dysmorphia of anyone he knew, said, quote, "To me, it's not enough to be fat. I dream of being on the cusp of immobility, forced to take slow, plodding, and thunderous steps wherever I go. It's not enough to have a big dick. I dream of a package so big I could barely walk.
Oh.
With a shaft as thick as a can of paint. And balls so big and pendulous that they hang to my knees like beach balls.
Oh, boy.
The girth of a can of paint, Aaron.
I mean, that's big.
I mean, only you have that. That's about it.
Yeah.
These are unreasonable standards.
And the length of a can of tuna.
It's like it's
chicken of the sea, sir.
It's an Uber chode, Daddy.
Yeah, it's a Tommy gun.
Gigachode.
It's a Tommy gun ammunition.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Just
I like
lock
that.
The barrel, yeah.
Yeah.
After his fourth injection, Peter was hospitalized with respiratory issues, and soon after was placed in a medically induced coma.
Oh my God.
Fuck.
3 days later, his mother was called and told her son was dying. Over the course of Tuesday evening on November 14th, I watched his oxygen levels go down and down and down. His lungs were so inflamed they were pretty much useless. Oof. Adding that it took 90 seconds for Dovak's heart to stop after they unplugged him from life support. Wow. I held him and he got so cold and still. This is all his partner, Rob.
Jesus Christ.
I read that 98% of silicone injection syndrome patients survive after a month. Not so lucky me that my partner wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
So, the pulmonary embolism is a sudden blockage in the blood vessels that sends blood to your lungs. It usually happens when a blood clot in the deep veins of your leg breaks off and travels to your lungs. A silicone embolism happens when silicone, typically from cosmetic implants, enters the blood vessels and causes a blockage. Silicone injections can also enter the bloodstream, especially if the person administering them accidentally injects them into a blood vessel.
Oh, yeah.
The most common symptoms are shortness of breath, trouble breathing, feeling lightheaded or dizzy, rapid heart rate, fever, feeling very unwell, confusion, chest pain, or pressure. In 2018, Dylan said he brought Tank to a plastic surgeon who removed some silicone from his body.
Uh-huh.
Which also sounds dangerous, but...
Which also sounds like something's wrong.
Fucking Caprice on the ball sack.
Or it could
that's what the metal man in this commercial is.
Or it could have been aesthetic.
Right, they're too big.
Certainly.
Or lumpy.
Yeah, you need to smooth those balls out.
Is this after Tank left once? Is that timeline? Because it also could have been cover the tracks maybe.
Oh, like I don't.
Well,
this is anything.
I don't want the balls that big.
Anything Dylan says happens.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm kind of like okay. But in the summer of 2018, Rob, Dovak's partner, got a call from Detective Pacino of Orange County. He'd been investigating the death of Peter Dovak. The district attorney was interested in prosecuting the man who injected Peter with silicone at the recommendation of Dylan, Joe Quader. Quader was a facilities manager for Orange County Municipal Services Department and had access to medical-grade silicone.
Huh.
On September 24th of 2018, Tank drew up a will leaving his estate to Dylan.
Fuck.
Including $200,000 he had inherited from his father.
No.
He named one of Dylan's pups, Chuck Osborne Alpha, as the executor of his estate.
Oh my God.
Tank's mother Linda and autistic brother Ben
could have used that $200,000.
Believed Ben would receive the money.
Oh my God.
Based on Tank's previous statements.
So wait.
And he's already thinking about death.
Was it? Did something happen? Was there a surgery before he wrote this will up? What was it again?
No. I mean, nothing's happened with Tank other than
they
said that silicone was taken out.
Right.
Which we also must believe is not a medical...
Okay, yeah, so maybe he started feeling bad.
Right.
After the silicone is, quote, taken out or added in or whatever.
God only knows. God. On September 27th, just a few days later, Detective Pacino calls Rob Waltman, the widower of Dovak, to let him know that Joe Quader has died by suicide.
The ball sticker, the ball pumper.
The guy with access to the silicone.
Okay.
And died by suicide.
Yeah, he was supposed to be arrested for manslaughter the next day.
Wow.
On October 9th of 2018, Tank was admitted to the hospital with trouble breathing.
Oh my God.
He died 6 days later from lung problems caused by silicone embolism.
Oh my God.
What was the arrest for manslaughter for a different...
No, that was for Dovak.
That's for Dovak.
Oh, that's for Dovak. Oh.
The guy who died.
Oh, that Dylan also
died first, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob Altman said, he goes, there's supposed to be less than 2% dying, but we know of 2 guys that just died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and I don't know about that many guys going around with this big ball bullshit. So it seems
right.
It seems like it's probably more than.
But there are also guys who are doing huge ball shit.
And they're not medically administered silicone injections.
Right.
Yeah,
and they're on a ton of steroids. Maybe they're doing some poppers while they're fisting each other.
But 98%.
Feel free to add in your own stuff whenever you want.
I'm just painting a picture.
Like regular Picasso over here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Tell me what else they're doing. Poppers, steroids, fucking
Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Fucking Claritin D.
Yeah. Original Sudafed.
Yeah, Werther's.
But so it's 98% when you go to a real doctor. It's probably not 98% when you go to
Some guy from Orange County.
Yeah.
From the municipal department?
Yeah,
What?
who has access to silicone.
So that sounds like I have access, and some guy will do it.
Yeah.
Well, in the Tokyo Joe episode, one guy had access to ammunition. Look how well that went.
So this was from Chuck Osborne, a.k.a. Alpha, executor of Tank Hayford-Pepin's estate. Now he's last name husband.
Already took the fucking name. God damn it.
Released a statement on Facebook. The world has lost one of its brightest lights. Our precious Tank Hayford-Pepin, 28, passed away this lake due to a previously undiagnosed lung ailment.
Yeah, well, it's always...
He is survived by his partner Dylan, his mother and brother in Australia, and his loving chosen family in Seattle. We are absolutely devastated as Tank ends his adventure with us and begins a new one. Tank had a persistent cough for several months.
So when he wrote the will...
Otherwise, he seemed fine doing the things he loved, working out, caring for clients as part of his lifelong AIDS alliance, and spending time with his family. Until a week ago, he had trouble breathing and was admitted to the hospital with what we figured was a routine infection. It turned out to be much more. He fought very hard, seeming to get a tiny bit better day by day until the terrible moment that we were told nothing more can be done. Oh my God. After helping people, Tank's greatest passion was for his partner Dylan. Together for over 8 years, their love overcame challenges the size of continents.
Of their balls.
And persisted as an unbreakable bond.
Well, except for the time he left and then was...
Tank's devotion and love for his partner was absolute. Tank's final words to Dylan were, quote, "Thank you for allowing me to serve you."
Oh, for fuck's sake.
God.
Tank requested that his remains be cremated and that no public memorial service be held.
They're half silicone.
Oh, dude, it's going to smell so bad burning all that silicone.
Jesus Christ.
Somebody fucking burn a light bulb.
In the days following... Jesus.
What?
Burning all that silicone is going to smell like shit.
Smells like a light bulb?
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Just add that to the...
Yeah. You want to do any accents or anything? In the days following Tank's death, Dylan deactivated his Instagram and newsletter. All of the content at his Tumblr, noodlesandbeef.com, was removed.
Oh,
he posted a page of text saying goodbye to Tank. Quote, "Tank left a very detailed will I'm determined to fulfill.
All the money goes to me."
He wrote in the goodbye. "Then I'm gone, starting with my online presence." Tank's remains were cremated. Dylan posted that Tank had left, quote, "detailed instructions that his body be used to advance science, organs harvested for transplant, and his remains cremated without a service," he wrote on his memorial page. On October 17th, Tank's death certificate was leaked online. What? Go.
What are you going to do with those organs?
I mean, John, we both thought it.
There's an elephant at the Bronx Zoo whose balls were fucking lopped off in a horrific accident.
Get Ace and Gary to solve this one.
Where can we get such pendulous balls?
Well, he's not happy right now.
The elephant?
Yeah, well, because he's missing his giant balls. I'm sorry. It's a very, very sad moment, but that's how I deal with tragedy.
Please go on.
No, I think also, I mean, in all honesty, if that's true, if what he's saying can be believed, the real scientific work to be done is studying what happens to a body pushed to its absolute limits.
Yeah.
That's the fucking organ harvesting. No, you're not giving that guy's kidneys to somebody.
No, his liver. You're not giving.
No,
That
and
guy was
his heart.
he was a chemistry.
So, yeah, he's a fucking science
His
experiment.
heart's all fucked up from.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're looking at anything, you're looking at where did the embolism come from?
Yeah, no, you're looking at it like this is borderline angel of death shit.
Yeah.
You know, like. On October 22nd, according to a legal complaint, Tank's mother, Linda, and his brother, Ben, only became aware of the death 1 week after he died.
Fuck Christ.
Gosh.
His death certificate was leaked online. His full legal name is listed as Tank Heathcliff Hayford-Pepin. His friend wrote in a lengthy rumination on his death, quote, "I don't know how long Jack was in the hospital, and I don't know what his experience was like there, but I know that Dylan isolated him and kept his death from his friends, and that makes me deeply uncomfortable."
Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable, man.
Mm-hmm.
His mother said, quote, to Dylan, "I wish you were dead. I've heard of the abuse of the abuse at your hand. You abused him." She showed Dylan a picture of her boy. She added, quote, "That's my son, that's my Jack, not what you turned him into, not what you wanted him to be. Bigger, 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 but never big enough. What sort of person injects into their frickin' balls to please you? What sort of person does that? Someone that feels so badly about themselves, someone who is vulnerable, who just wanted to be your love at any cost and the cost of his life." The Seattle alternative paper, The Stranger, got a copy of Tank's death certificate. It lists the cause of death as silicone embolism syndrome resulting from subcutaneous injection of silicone. The silicone embolism came before the issues in Tank's lungs.
Yep.
The Stranger interviewed the King County Medical Examiner and explained that his silicone embolism syndrome led to a viral inflammation of his lungs, causing acute respiratory distress.
Oh, God.
He couldn't get enough oxygen to his lungs, and eventually his lungs were bleeding, and he died. On the 30th of October, the Seattle Police Department, when asked if they are investigating, Dylan said, "The Seattle Police Department and King County Medical Examiner's Office have reviewed the medical file related to this death, as well as concerns from the community. There is no criminal investigation at this time."
Lies.
Well,
they're not investigating it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, they're just looking at it like, well, he chose to do it.
Right.
Yeah, they're choosing to close the case instead of deal with it.
Publication in the same publication, The Stranger, Death of a Kingster. Dylan had deleted his Instagram and Tumblr by this time and discontinued his newsletter. Tank's Tumblr had been deleted too. A few days after the content at noodlesandbeef.com was removed and replaced with a goodbye message to Tank. That goodbye page was itself later removed and replaced with recipes for noodles and beef dishes.
I guess that's the end game.
I just run a simple noodles and beef blog.
Look, I'm just a.
But they were also listed as being recipes by Dylan.
Oh, good.
But then later on, they were like, these are like copy and pasted from like cooking.com.
Of course he doesn't actually have any. No, the pups cooked for him. He doesn't have any fucking talent.
So he appeared in King County District Court filing seeking a restraining order against a BuzzFeed reporter who was working on a story about him. The reporter, Blake Montgomery, was alleged to have shown up at Dylan's residence for a comment which Dylan felt was harassing and called the police. Montgomery was jailed for 24 hours and released.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, they just...
A report aired on Australia's Network 10 program, The Project, about Tank and Dylan. It showed a dramatic confrontation between Dylan and Jack's mother, Linda, when he brought Tank's ashes back to Australia.
He actually... The balls, I mean...
Go on.
The balls on that guy. Apparently not, because he didn't go through all the big ball shit, did he?
He did.
He did, yeah.
He did? Okay. Just not as big.
No, there's no photos that I've seen that where he has anywhere near what Tank had.
Yeah.
Dylan filed a lawsuit against 10 in the Australian federal court, alleging that he was defamed in the broadcast. Linda Chapman described her son as a gentle giant who was so loved and had changed after getting into a relationship with Dylan. Yeah. Cameras showed Dylan delivering Tank's ashes to Linda. He looks at the cameras and asks, "What's all this?" "They've come here to film the returning of Jack's ashes. They're going to be covering the wake," Linda told him. "Oh, okay," he replied. Linda said to Dylan, "I believe with all my heart that you are wholly and solely responsible for my son's death. I wish you were dead." Wow. It ended when she told him, "Get out of my house, I hate you," and he left.
Wow. Good for her.
BuzzFeed was slapped with a restraining order for reporting on Noodles and Beef.
Can't even go to the website.
They reported on Dylan's appearance in court on the 5th and the arrest of the reporter. Channel 10's The Project Story Justice for Jack program remained on the channel's website for 10 months and was removed on the day it received Dylan's notice about a potential lawsuit. Dylan sued Channel 10 for defamation. In June, Dylan and the pups made a claim to the money in Australian court. Tank's money.
Yeah. Brutal.
They've yet to receive it.
Okay.
Tank had wanted the money to go towards our home together, but without Tank, it's a reminder of what I've lost, Dylan said.
What? Yeah. Well, yeah.
$200,000.
Yeah. No, I know. That's exactly it.
Yeah, the tape cut off before he said that.
It's $100,000 per ball.
Fuck me. Linda and Ben Chapman filed a lawsuit in King County, Washington against Dylan, the pups, Daniel, Charles, and Matthew, and Philip. The alleged wrongful death, negligence, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and civil conspiracy against the group. The Chapmans are seeking punitive damages and plan to contend provisions of a revised will that leaves Tank's money with Dylan, not his family. Yeah, the money, they're trying to challenge that one.
Yeah, well, what's so, like, you don't write a will when you're in your 20s.
Yeah. Was he like, maybe
he was sick.
Right.
He clearly was sick, and they saw the writing on the wall. And then they said, it can't be Dylan as the executor. It has to be fucking Alpha, this other fucking Momo.
Yeah, but yeah, why pups shouldn't be executors, so that doesn't,
They're not even allowed to stand up.
Yeah. They have to sign a contract to be on a contract.
Yeah. God damn. In October of 2020, a federal court in Australia ordered 10 to pay indemnity legal costs and publish a clarification following mediation proceedings. Channel 10 and Dylan settled the case in April 2020. The terms of settlement said the channel had agreed to provide Dylan with a private apology, post a clarification on Channel 10's 10-play website for a period of 14 days. The channel also agreed to send clarification letters to global media organizations and Google, and also to pay legal costs incurred by Dylan, capped at $75,000. Wow. Earlier this year, Dylan filed an interlocutory application against the channel for not complying properly with settlement terms. The channel, he alleged, had posted clarification at the bottom of the terms of use page.
not the article page.
As of 2023, there is still a Twitter account linked to Dylan Hayford-Pepin, at Dylan Hayford-Pepin, pup/murderer/pup murderer. Joined October 2018.
You can do that on Twitter now, huh?
And it's him?
Well, it could be.
It's linked to him.
But
well, meaning it's not an imposter account that's trying to make a statement?
I don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
But.
Wow.
So that
the story of bears that got their balls injected until they died.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, there too is that, like, that could be him trying to be like, maybe ironically being like, oh, I'm a murderer, I'm a pup murderer.
OJ, if I did it.
Yeah. But also, I'm sure this case is so, like, overly analyzed in the queer community too that it's such a part of the culture that he's probably very well used to it being his reputation.
Yeah.
So it could be some kind of backlash against that if it is actually him, which I don't know if it is.
Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, he's fucking still kind of shamelessly out there in some form or another. Mm-hmm. No criminal charges have been filed. Wow. And you know, the thing is,
and the guy who did it, did the injections, killed himself.
Yeah.
So there's no
or at least where they got the silicone from. Who knows who actually did it? Could have been fucking Dylan himself.
It could be one of them. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So it turns out the guy in Mexico was actually good at it.
Probably.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the best.
Yeah.
Dios mío.
I mean, I saw them. They looked great.
On the huevos.
So yeah, I mean, at first, you know, Laura, all the way, by the way, did great research on this.
Thank you, Laura.
Took a lot of work, and she was one that alerted me the story years ago. So I always planned on doing this, and
yeah, the body dysmorphia thing, like that's something
I've
thought about a lot, but it makes sense, especially like, you know, there's trans people and queer people and the bears, and there's a lot of the body is changing on purpose or because it doesn't reflect what they want it to reflect.
The
but sometimes
Cronenberg movie, man.
Yeah, sometimes maybe that what they want it to reflect is not realistic in a physical.
Well, you're filling a hole.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Or
matter.
a bag.
Yes.
But you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if it's heroin or food or the gym and steroids.
Right.
You're filling a hole.
Yeah.
Right.
So
right,
whatever thing he has about his alcoholic parents and then being booted out at 18, I'm sure being gay, was like a thing that wasn't going to be hot in that family.
But it does seem like dysmorphia, at least in this community, is more regular than.
Yes, but I would imagine, especially with men who are such visual gay men. Well, men in general, more visually, right?
Motivated,
but sexually, right?
Yeah.
And so if you've got it's man on man, then it's just like this vicious cycle of continuing to try to meet your partner's and your own expectations of what the ideal partner looks like.
But with him, it very much starts with him.
Yeah.
I mean, that superhero comment is just fucking bananas.
Yeah, right.
What? Yeah. You know what I mean? Because, like...
They're not real.
Yeah, and also, like... it's not even... after watching that Arnold doc, it's not what he's going for.
No, right, yeah. Yeah.
Completely different.
Yeah, and I mean, Arnold did it. Like, what's stopping them from doing Arnold shit?
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking...
A methodical approach, real dedication.
Well, no, but also, like, let's be real, he's doing steroids, too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. I mean, it's obvious.
Yeah.
Clearly.
But there's a whole...
with a different goal in mind.
There's a different aesthetic at play when it's...
muscularity, proportions, definition.
But there's being sexually motivated and having all
it's all when it's tied up
with
so intimately.
Right.
With sex and power, and another individual.
Yes.
Right. Then it just becomes like now you're that person's expression of what an ideal partner is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. And so
in that Liberace movie, right? Behind the Candelabra, started getting them surgery to look like him. There's that punk group. That
Psychic TV,
that they got surgery to look like each other.
Yes.
So there's a pattern, right? It's very strange.
Yeah, I think also like there's I understand in a way when it was all good and fun and even the online thing of like, I mean, because then you're like, like him getting into these TV things where it's like bear movies, bear TV shows. Right. And you go like, and then as a kick in the background, we have like a super bear. And then that's your role in the community.
Yep.
Is to be
your
like,
identity's tied up with it.
And then like, I mean, I understand being, completely lost in that perverted thing. Mm-hmm. Being on the Giuliani brain, you know what I'm saying? You get carried with this, I own the tits. You don't own the tits, but you say crazy things.
Yeah.
But also, you get away with it too.
Right, but also like there's the thing of like, I mean, really being in that mindset where you're like all day, every day, just being like, I get it both ways, the master and the pup, where it's like, because the one thing it says about the relationship is total devotion and total abandonment of any kind of societal norms that say like, no, dude, it's just me and this guy and fucking is number one. And
right.
But of course, like any power structure, it can be corrupted and manipulated. But I get that being the thing that gets you in. It's like, dude, I don't even fucking jack off unless this guy tells me.
Yeah.
And how that could be hot to somebody.
Yep. And comfort, like, it happens with gangs, right?
Yeah.
Who don't have a stable life at home or a father figure.
Because at the end of the day, it's somebody to check on you.
Yes. And it's still checking. Like,
it's still checking.
You become institutionalized, right? Like, you get reliant on that. A boot on your face is still touch.
Right. Very
it's
well
human
said.
contact, right? And there's something in Jack. What was his
Chapman?
His
Tank.
Tank.
There's something in Tank's being and upbringing that made him prone, right, to this type of relationship.
But also, he did try to get out.
Yeah, I mean,
but went back.
Yeah.
Like this,
and then that happens with women in bad relationships.
Yeah, no,
with
exactly.
men.
No, it's very
You
much that sort of thing.
go right back to it. It's fucking super sad, but it's the same. The expression of this dynamic happens all around in all different kinds of relationships. It's just that in this particular one, it involves getting your balls blown up to supreme proportion so much that you get sick and die.
Yeah. I mean, in the last one, Tokyo Joe, there's that guy going, "Oh, you'd fix anything you didn't like about women. New nose, new tits," and it's like that's not good either.
No.
That's bad too because he's not married. Like these are not his. These are one. These are his girlfriends, flings.
Yeah.
He's still. This is permanent forever. It's just what he likes.
Right. Yeah.
And so that's bad in a similar way.
Yeah.
And this especially with the contract and these homes, the isolation.
Yeah. And it's interesting though, because, and I really wanted, Joe K to be here because.
We should have him on Patreon to talk about it.
Yeah, because he was like, oh man, he's like, you're gonna be talking about like the bad kink shit, and I was like, I know, but like, it would have been good to have him here to be like,
absolutely.
Okay, well that's not obviously like.
Also, can you explain some of this?
But also that scene did self-correct and be like, okay, this is fucked up. We can see with the language here that's wrong.
Yeah,
like with it, like
in kink community in general is gay or straight is hyper aware.
Yes.
Of the rules and consent and safety and all that because you're playing with fire.
Yeah.
And so for everybody to like feel safe and want to continue taking part in it, we have to have,
right.
Fucking, there are rules, man.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
this is not nom.
This is not nom.
A lot of it is letting go, jumping out.
Yeah.
But, someone has to pull the parachute at some point.
Yeah, safe words or whatever.
But there's an acknowledgement, there's a trust between everybody involved. And, this relationship, the trust is saying, no matter what, you trust me at the top.
Yeah, and the thing of like...
And he doesn't trust them.
Yeah.
And being like, when somebody's crying and posting, I don't deserve to be loved, you go like, all right, man, toxic. We gotta pull you out. You know?
Exactly.
You're taking it too seriously.
Yeah.
It's become like a normal relationship, which is ugh.
The idea that in that community they would have been very quickly going from like celebrated celebrities, to pariahs, to then
run out of town,
and like. No online presence, and basically tied to 2, let's say, wrongful deaths.
Yeah.
2. And
I don't even know if they're actually legally wrongful deaths. I mean, but it seems like it could go that way, potentially wrongful deaths.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, like he is an adult man who did this, quote unquote, under his own, on his own accord.
Yeah. Everybody at Jonestown lifted their own cup, man.
Yeah. That's right.
But that doesn't mean we think Jim Jones is a good guy.
No.
Right.
No.
Right. And it's not illegal to be a bad guy.
Right.
But,
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and I talked to you guys before this, like, it is tragic, and this is a family without a son and brother.
Yeah.
And, other people, but, like, obviously, along the way, there's points where you're just like, this is so over the top, you have to laugh.
Yeah.
It's
big,
having a fucking...
big ball death?
I mean, giant balls are funny.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Giant balls are funny. They're funny. Yeah. And then when you go like, oh yeah, you can die from that. You're like, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it before in my life, so yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a big foot, you could die from it. If you got a giant hand, you could die from it. It's not a great. The elephant man, he had all this giant stuff.
He couldn't lay down.
Yeah.
I mean,
and he was not an animal.
No.
Dog.
At least as far as I know.
Anything.
Pony.
None of that shit.
But I also imagine the move to Seattle only when a cult, or I'm not saying this is a cult legally.
Oh yeah.
When they are further isolated, then things start ramping up
into cult territory.
Because the leader now doesn't have.
Yeah.
You know, the leader is now feeling under attack and taking it out on everybody around them.
Yeah, and like in the queer scene, the thing is like, you know, there's a lot of people without kids, and like the life is the life.
Yeah.
So there's also a lot more time to notice shit being fucked up.
True, yeah.
So I bet very quickly in San Francisco Kink, they were like, you know, we know what you're doing with your fucking husbands is all fucked up, right? And he was probably like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And then you can show up in Seattle, and it's new, and it's like, oh, look at these fucking Cabbage Patch men and their fucking preposterous bodies.
Yeah.
And then it's new and exciting, and then there's the possibility of potential new pups.
Yep.
All that shit, you know?
But also the self-policing community, they're bigger than the gay community in Seattle. But in San Francisco, they're just a part of the community. But you know what I mean? Like, so it's harder for them to be policed by the gay community in Seattle.
Also, the internet's out. Like, all that shit can follow them to Seattle.
Sure, but the power structure of the gay community in Seattle is nowhere near as big as the one in San Francisco.
Sure.
So the people who in that community with
you can
gravitas,
still even in today's in connected age, you can still move to a new town.
Yeah.
And start somewhat over.
Yeah. But you're living on borrowed time.
Yeah. It's only a matter of time until somebody Googles your name.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Well, because the thing is, you're supposed to move somewhere and disappear.
Right.
Like, you're not supposed to,
show up at the fucking gay as fuck night.
Yeah.
You know, with 3 dudes on a leash.
Yeah. With the biggest balls you ever seen in your life.
Somebody's gonna Google that.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna say, "Hey, I saw 3 guys, like a bunch of dudes with the biggest balls," and they go like, "Dylan?" Like,
yeah, he's out here now. Yeah, nothing's changed. He just moved here.
Yeah. So,
wow, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad and it's fucking baffling.
Yeah. But that's the craziest thing is, especially with communities like that aren't so out in the open, they aren't so mainstream. It only makes any sort of legal prosecution harder.
I suppose.
Yeah, I guess, but like,
I think at the end of the day, it was just these guys chose to do what they wanted to do. Yeah. There was no real proof.
That's the thing, yeah.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean, he probably did sign over his estate. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if he put a gun to his head and made him sign it.
Right, sure.
But at least also psychologically there was a gun to his head.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when you're just like...
Maybe those were really his last words. It's been an honor to serve you.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
Yeah. I mean, he's still in the bed. Yeah, it's like, Dylan's the only one there or
How many fucking Nazis killed themselves saying "See Heil"?
Yeah.
Like...
A lot of guys in Nuremberg just fucking hanging themselves in the cells. A lot of guys in Nuremberg just being like, "I'm sorry, fuck you." Yeah.
You can buy you buy it. You died in the wall and like.
Yeah, maybe you went your last. Sorry, go ahead.
Man, it is just. You can have a cult of 6.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it just being a fucking. Man. Thank God there are women, because like if it was just guys doing shit, this would happen a lot more.
Yeah.
If it was just us guys in here, one of you guys would be dead.
What?
I'd be out there doing shit for nothing.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I already have.
Lick my boot.
I already have big balls.
Tie those balls around your neck. Put them on your head like Mickey ears. Yeah.
Throw them over your shoulder
like a continental soldier, man. Wobble to and fro. It's just horny young dudes.
Mm-hmm. And then
heavy kink.
Yeah, and some
steroids
and prestige in the community.
Yes, and they're getting it. They're getting an inflated social benefit from it because they're on the internet.
Yeah,
right? Like when you're on the internet, like it's hard to conceive of millions of people.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're getting you're posting your shit on fucking Beef and Noodles about like, I got these big balls and my boys and all that, like millions of people are saying, "Yay!"
Yeah.
Like that reinforcement psychologically and physiologically, the drip you're getting of the fucking dopamine, and you're fucking jerked up on steroids.
That also feeds in. This is like the cult 2.0 with the internet involved. Because then you go like, that reinforcement also tells the pups in the house you can be replaced.
Yeah.
So try extra hard.
Yeah.
So 60,000 people are on that.
They're waiting in
side.
line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And also then ABC News segment. And then, a Bears movie and a Bears web series. So, not like in that world, not a background player.
No.
Right, celebrated in the community at least until.
Yeah, and even in a way where he admits that it's problematic, his own obsession, like in the ABC,
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, fucking, again, incredible research by Laura. And when I kind of asked her to go deeper into some of, the bear pup kind of backgrounds.
She's like, what are you, fucking crazy?
What?
She said, you do
More
it.
balls? Come on.
I was like, bigger.
I want to see 3 balls in the sack.
But yeah, she was a big help, and her and our friend James Dillenbeck are working on a very cool comic book.
Yes, they are.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Awesome.
Sounds great. Looks great.
James Dillenbeck does a lot of good bear art.
Yes, he does.
Shout out to James Dillenbeck.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm really fascinated by it.
And it's an ongoing story, so we can always check back in.
We always can too. Yeah. I'm sure it's not over in some way or not. Like it's
somebody's balls are getting bigger somewhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we should call it there, gentlemen.
Fantastic.
Call it there. Great story, John.
Thank you, and thank you, Laura, and
Thank you, Laura.
you handsome young gentleman.
Oh boy, I'm not signing it.
What? You are signing. You have to sign.
You've got to sign the will.
You guys can't do this to me.
You got to give me your whole homies collection.
Yeah.
They were worth millions. All right, gentlemen. I love you. I'm going to say goodnight. My name is John Fahey.
I'm Aaron Pita.
Matt Pursuit.
Good night, everybody. We love you.
Good night.